Hello and welcome everyone to episode 56 of the 120 Days of Movie podcast. This is your co-host Chuck and my other co-hosts Daniel and Brendan. I'm going to try introducing you guys first. I want to see how that goes.
Okay. But then they won't know who's Daniel and who's Brendan.
All right, the first guy just spoke. That guy is Daniel and then the other guy is
Yeah.
All right, that was Brendan. It is a little confusing actually.
No, it's cool. I'm nitpicking for fun.
No, that's fair. But yeah, we saw Beau Is Afraid by Ari Aster. It came out last year. And yeah, it was the last movie of our like Halloween special, I guess. We all got to recommend a Halloween movie, which was cool. And yeah, it was Daniel's pick. And yeah, I was gonna say, Dan, do you want to just we should just say this is a spoiler discussion. Like,
Yeah, it's true.
it's a hard movie not to talk. Like, we can't dance around a lot of it.
Yeah, if you haven't seen this movie, you'll both be spoiled and be completely confused. So you're not going to really get a lot. Well, I mean, I'm not going to tell anyone not to listen, but you're going to be. It's a bit of a ride. So
Yeah,
bear that in
definitely.
mind. Yeah, but
But
I
yeah.
can give a little summary if you want.
Yeah.
Try to.
Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, really bizarre movie. I mean, for the very beginning, it's a grown man played by Joaquin Phoenix, who is planning on going to visit his mother for the anniversary of his father's death. His father died before he was born. And it's clear, well, nothing's clear about this movie. He has very severe anxiety. He lives in just this awful city that, here's the thing, we'll get all into this. Unclear to me if really he's in this post-apocalypse where just the streets are filled with people actively stabbing each other, people screaming and running around, just the most stressful, horrifying place. If that's really where he lives, or if that's his anxiety, and he just sees the world that way, it's sort of unclear. But anyway, he tries to go visit his mother through a series of kind of random extenuating circumstances. He's unable to make it to his mother, calls her the next day to check in on her, and finds out that she has, in a freak accident, been killed by a chandelier. So he feels horrible. And then most of the movie is him trying to get to his mother's funeral, but along the way is hit by a car, stabbed many times, joins a traveling theater company in which he himself imagines his whole life before his eyes in the form of a play. And eventually, and that's like the whole movie. We'll have to talk about all those events, but finally gets to his childhood home where his mother's being interred, finds out that she faked her own death in a way to get back at him for being such an awful son, and refuting not visiting her when she asked him to. Finds out that his father didn't die and is actually a giant penis monster, that he has a twin brother, and ultimately maybe commits suicide, but at the very least just has what I interpret as like an internal back and forth with sort of his like good voice and bad internal voice, and all the bad voices win, and then he drowns. Yeah, this isn't really helpful, but that's the events in like a literal sense. I don't know. We can talk about it more. Maybe
it was fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, fuck man. Like, this is less of a horror movie as it turns out, but it's very funny. I mean, it's horrifying. In like it's absurd. But yeah, I agree. This movie's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the funniest moment for me definitely was just like the beginning. I love the first act.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like when he's in his shithole apartment.
Yeah, man, he's just like in hell. Like he's like walking, like he can't even like leave his apartment building.
Well, that sequence where he takes, like, by the way, I guess I should say the whole thing in this movie is, I sort of allude to this, but he's incredibly anxious, and just every interaction he has with a person, every moment, just is like, does not go smoothly, just is so stressful. And there's this sequence where he that I feel like you're sort of referring to, where he has to take his medication and he has to take it with water. And if he doesn't take his pills with water, he's going to die. So he's got to run across the street to go get a water bottle, in which case he's like almost assaulted. People are screaming at him. It's just like insanity. He locks himself out of his apartment at that same time, and the entire city basically goes into his apartment. It's just, yeah, crazy.
I thought that was also really fucking funny when there's like a guy who's like I don't know what's the best way to put it, but I guess like he has like tattoos all over his body.
Yeah.
He waits for him.
Yeah, the very
Bro's
beginning.
always yeah, bro's always
yeah.
there.
He sees him coming, and he's just all out sprinting. Which, by the way, I love that guy. That all we know about him is that he desperately wants to like attack Beau, and also he burns himself constantly. Like every time we see him, like when we first see him, he's at a soup truck and he drops it and goes, "Fuck, that's hot!" And then when he's in Beau's apartment, he's making something in the microwave and it's too hot. And then I think he dies of a burn. This dude's just like constantly has no sense of temperature.
Yeah.
That was yeah, it's so ridiculous.
I also thought the like when he's in the family's house, like the paint scene, I thought that was so hilarious. Like I
Yeah,
thought
I thought
the
that was
visual
so
was really
funny
funny.
too.
Yeah, it's so like I can't even like get a grip on it. Like,
Yeah,
you're talking about when she drinks the paint is what you're talking about.
yeah, and she's just like
Yeah,
yelling
Tony.
at him. But I thought she was so funny in that scene, like that actress, whoever that was.
Yeah, that's actually a good question. There's a few people who like I vaguely recognize. Let me see if I can find her.
And I just
Um,
but like I love that scene, but I also get so mad because the mom comes in and she's like, "How could you do this?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I
why did
know.
you do this to my daughter?" I'm like, "Dude, what do you mean?
You're right.
How do you for
What do you mean? What did I do?
yeah, how do you force someone to drink all that paint?"
Yeah, it's that's like what I mean too. By the way, obviously, just like everything spirals in a way where it's just it all comes back to like he can never just relax. You know, either someone's trying to like she's trying to get him to I can't even just get like drink paint with her, and then he gets blamed. Yeah, it's just it just never ends. I love too at that then the mom goes and it goes literally when he runs, she's going to grab a sword off the wall. Did you notice that?
yeah,
No, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't notice
Yeah,
that.
that's where she turns and goes because like Nathan's room is like covered in like I don't know, he had a medieval thing going on or something. There was like a sword mounted on his wall, and she just literally turns around and goes and is grabbing the sword off the wall, and that's when he runs away. Like she was just about to like I don't know, whatever you do with a
yeah.
sword, stab someone, slash someone.
That's fucking hilarious.
No.
I also love the guy who's chasing Beau the entire time. Like
Oh yeah,
the
Yeah,
yeah. Like
Jeeves.
yeah,
Jeeves.
Jeeves, yeah. It was
Yeah,
like it was their son's friend in war.
right.
Mhm. Dude, that was
Yeah.
crazy.
Man, that was crazy. Yeah, it's like there's so many threads, and honestly, like not to get ahead to like the negatives, but like I think I don't know to what degree I should be trying to piece things together. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
weird.
because it's like he's chasing Beau because uh because he didn't kill Tony, didn't kill the daughter, but the mom thinks he does, so she yells, "Get him!" But then he doesn't kill Beau. He goes and stabs Beau's dad, the penis monster. You know, it's just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just can't. And even describing it, I'm thinking it's like, oh, am I meant to be figuring something out here? Is something going on? Or is it just chaos? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with just chaos because I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like I don't know because I don't know about you guys, but I thought about Synecdoche in New York a lot during this movie.
Same, yeah. I mean, I just watched it. We talked about it, I think, last episode,
Mhm.
or maybe 2 episodes ago. But yeah, I just seen it. And yeah, I felt the same. Like, actually, not to hyper focus on that, but what reminded me about it was not just like the absurdity and like the surrealism of it, but the fact that I feel like both Synecdoche, New York, and now Beau Is Afraid are kind of examining something ultimately sort of simple. Like I'd say Beau Is Afraid really is just about like anxiety. and it's about like
Mhm.
and trauma, like, which is obviously complex, but like it's just kind of
Yeah.
looking at how someone with really severe unresolved trauma and anxiety would sort of be experiencing the world in like this absurdist way. But just the movie is just it's just the expression. It's just that perspective. It's not that like the message is so complicated and so poignant and like so difficult to explain. It's just the way it's explained is so over the top. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I felt like the main characters were kinda similar in some ways.
Yeah, they're both like, just that they're constantly beaten down, kind of.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
just can't get ahead. That's true. That's
Yeah,
true. Yeah.
but I feel like, uh, and this is kind of a negative of, Beau Is Afraid. I feel like Beau doesn't really have, like, any agency. Like,
Hmm.
he's a very passive character, like, or like a, I guess, reactionary character.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
Um,
think honestly, I think that's by design. I think he's written that way. Because that's what his
yeah.
mother ultimately criticizes him for. Is
Mhm.
you're always looking for someone to make a decision for you. Um,
Yeah,
which of
and it just
course is like, oh god.
oh, no, sorry, it was just kinda bothered me too because, like, there's, like, moments where you're like, "Oh, maybe this guy isn't, like, so dumb." Because there's, like, the moment
Hmm.
where he's like, "Oh, I noticed that wasn't your hands
Hmm.
um, in the coffin."
But
So
he
I don't
doesn't do
know.
anything about it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like, why bring that up if he's just gonna be still dumb?
I mean, I think not to because I definitely have criticisms of this movie too. Like, I do think Bo like is actively written in a way where like he's meant to be sort of frustrating. Like, I don't think he's stupid, but I think like the like what you're seeing is sort of like the consequence of someone being like sort of manipulated and controlled and put down their whole life. Like he is who he is because of how his mother treated him.
Mhm.
Just like, and I
Yeah.
think that's kind of what you're meant to see. Like, as absurd as it is, where it's like, yeah, okay, you realized your mother, that wasn't your mother's body, but you're kind of so frozen in just like, you don't know what to do. You don't know how to handle it. He takes a nap, is what he does. He goes and lies down on the bed or on the couch. Um, so, yeah, anyway, it's, maybe I'm sort of giving it credit it doesn't deserve, but that's kind of how I saw it, I guess.
Yeah, no, and that's fair too.
Yeah.
Um, I yeah, I really did like the first act a lot, just in the sense of, like, also, like, you got to see him, like handle everything, but not really, like, handle it
Mm,
super well. But it was cool. It was like, I don't know, it, like, set the stage perfectly for the rest of the movie.
that first act you're talking about, like him at
Yeah,
home.
yeah, mhm.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say the other thing I really loved, I actually really liked the play. I thought the play was really cool.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, honestly, I sort of think this movie's like very segmented.
Mhm.
Which isn't really a criticism, just like it is. Like you can kind of like, yeah, him at his apartment is very sort of distinct in feel and in even like narrative in terms of the narrative compared to when he's at that family's home with Nathan Lane. The after he's hit by their car. Then there's him running and him finding the theater company and the whole play. Then him at his mother's house. It's like all these are like they almost could be their own movies,
Yeah.
Mhm.
in a way. Like they do kind of loop into each other, but they're very distinct.
Yeah.
The thing
I
with the play that sort of oh, I'm sorry, Brendan, go ahead.
Oh no, no. I was just gonna say I really like the visuals and like the story that was going on while the play was being said.
Yeah, I was just basically going to say same thing. That it's sort of interesting. Like it's both. It's very odd in that like it's not the events of the movie. Like I guess for anyone listening who maybe hasn't seen it or doesn't remember, he's watching this play and he sort of has this vision and where he's living the play and the play is kind of the events of like this fictionalized life of his where like he has a family and he's like Amish almost. It's like this very it's not his life, but he's sort of experiencing as if it is his life. And then it sort of loops around and it's very um I don't even know the word. Like you can't call it meta. Like it's like meta within the fiction.
Hmm.
Um And it's very strange because it's like there's pieces of that story of the play that do mirror the events of the movie, in my opinion. You know, like, I mean, thematically, it's like him looking for purpose and stuff, but also even I was thinking like there's that bit where in the play where he gets accused of killing someone's child, uh, denies it, but it makes him seem more guilty, and then they sick an attack dog on him. And it's like, that's like what just happened at the family's house. Like, he doesn't kill the daughter, is accused of it, can't convince them he's not, and then they sick Jeeves on him, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's just like, it's sort of hard to get a handle on, but I don't know, it's very compelling in that way, I guess.
No, definitely. I
Yeah.
I didn't like the ending. I thought
Hmm.
the whole twist of like, oh yeah, like your mother has like infiltrated your entire life. Um, I thought that was just like I didn't really do it for me for some reason.
Mhm.
I did
I
find it
Yeah.
hilarious when the guy, his attorney, like fell in the water.
Yeah, uh-huh. Right. They
That
just throw his defense.
lost it. I thought that was so, and you can barely hear him, which was also so
Yeah,
funny.
right. Yeah. He's like, objection, it's a
Uh,
charge.
like you can barely fucking hear him.
Right. Yeah, I agree. It's like really, I mean, this whole movie's off the rails. Like, it doesn't get off the rails; it just starts off the rails. But it it sort of works for me in that, like, again, like that. I feel like it works in that, like, it's this sense, like we're looking at this character who's like, I keep using this word, but I keep using the words like trauma and anxiety, and like he's really kind of a broken person, and it's all I feel like we discover from this sense that he has, that his mother is controlling, that he doesn't know how to please his mother, that like she wants him to be something he's not, and then this sort of twist is she's like continuing to control his life and watch his life, where it's like less of a, I don't know. It just, yeah, it's just it takes, I feel like, these themes and these senses of like what it maybe it feels like to be that anxious and to be like worried about that judgment and just like make it literal, which is sort of bizarre in itself.
Mhm.
But yeah, when looking at it, it is just, I don't know. It's like it's pretty out of nowhere, and not to mention the movie ends so abruptly, despite being 3 hours long. The movie has a sort of an abrupt end.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
You talking about the 3 hours, it actually kinda, like, flew by for me.
Oh, for me, it was the opposite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
What
think
part
after.
what
Oh,
parts
go ahead.
were the worst for you?
So I think after, so up until the house, I was like, oh, like I was the time wasn't like affecting me or anything. But then after that, there were just okay. Like an example was when he was, I guess, having sex with that woman, which was also pretty funny. As she just dies.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah,
What
yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah. And then I look and I think there was like still an hour left, and I was like, what the hell? Like it just kept.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it helped me because I did not look at the time at all during the movie because I feel like I
Okay.
was
Oh
getting
yeah.
scared,
Yeah.
like, how much time was left. Because I
Yeah.
was ready for, like, that scene where he's on the boat, I'm like, "Oh, there's probably, like, another hour left of the movie."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Which that's like, yeah, strangely enough, like I'm kind of in between the two of you guys in the sense that like it did not drag for me. Like ultimately, like I I didn't feel like I was stuck or anything. But at the same time, yeah, I like paused the movie a couple times just like, you know, to live my life. And it was like, yeah, what the fuck? Like, how is it like, because I think each sequence is like so segmented, compartmentalized, it's like, how the fuck is the story gonna keep going? Like, even from the beginning where it's like when he's in the surgeon's house, and it's like, okay, well, this is the story now. Like, I guess like I'm getting a handle on what the story's about, and it's like, oh no, this is just one moment, and like there's no way you could anticipate what's going to happen next. Like it's kind of just,
Yeah.
it just keeps adding more on. Like it like stops and starts in a way that is like really weird and kind of, yeah, it messes with, um, yeah, like if you were told, oh, the movie's, you know, a third done, you'd be like, how the fuck is that possible? Like where
Yeah.
could this possibly go?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking. I
Mhm.
I don't know like how I feel about this movie. It's definitely something
Yeah.
I would need to watch again.
You would or you wouldn't? I didn't hear you.
I would need to watch again to get a
Oh,
better idea.
okay.
Yeah, and I think I would watch this again, but not like anytime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would too, and I was thinking the same way you were, where it's like, do I want to watch this again? But also, I like the movie. Like, I still sort of haven't even decided what my score will be, but it'll be a positive score. But it's like, do I want to watch this again because I really want to peel back the layers and I am really interested, or do I want to watch it again almost just because so much happens that like I'm already like the movie ended and I was like, there's shit I've forgotten. Like him in his apartment feels like a lifetime ago. You know,
Mhm.
there's just
Yeah.
like so many elements that to just kind of get everything ordered in my head, I would need to watch it a second time. So, which isn't inherently a bad thing, but yeah, it's sort of different.
Yeah. I would want to watch it again just to like I guess appreciate it a bit more, but I do not see myself watching it again.
Mhm.
Un- Unless it's like a group setting and other people want to watch it, then I'll watch it. But I don't see me putting this on again.
I agree with you in that sense too. Like I would rather watch this in a group next time I watch it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like I want to show people this. I'm like, oh yeah, like it's weird. I want to see like if you think it's weird too.
Yeah.
I think most people will probably find it weird. I'd be worried if I showed this to someone. They're like, "Oh, that's weird. Like that just seems normal. That's how I live
Oh
my
yeah,
life."
that's I live in that area.
Right? Your mom hasn't faked her own death. I don't understand.
Hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say,
I guess
go ahead, Brick.
no, I was just gonna say I guess like that like also um like the movie maybe shows where his anxiety has come from when we do see his like
Mhm.
mom and her being so it's like she's mad that her son's like that, but he's like that because of her. I don't know. Maybe there's something
Yeah,
of
no,
that
I'm
nature.
with you, Brendan. That's like how I read it, honestly. Like,
Mhm.
um, yeah, like I think it's sort of as like absurd as it is. I do think there's this element of like you are discovering how he sort of experiences the world, and then slowly why, And I do think like I think mothers get blamed a lot for for um like psychological problems a lot. Like, isn't that Freud that always said everything goes to the mother or something? But it
Mm,
is
Yeah.
kind of like you're like discovering the circumstances of his childhood and like the lies he's told as a kid and the sorts of things he remembers and what he's afraid of. Yeah, you are kind of figuring out why like why is he like
Yeah.
this? And there's definitely some holes. Like there's certain things like why is he living in a shit apartment when his mother is like the fucking CEO of the largest company in the world or something like that.
yeah, yeah. I was
It has
literally
a
gonna
town named after her.
yeah,
Yeah.
the
Right.
biggest company on
But
the planet or something.
yeah, but that's not even really it's like not really interested in answering those questions. It's just sort of wants you to know like him as a person, like why he thinks the way he does.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
weird movie to talk about. Like
It's
I
true.
didn't I didn't
Okay.
expect it to be like this tough to like I don't know. I feel like I was expect like this did not feel anything like Midsommar or Hereditary.
Mm. Yeah, I haven't seen Hereditary, but I agree with you about Midsummer, where it's.
Hmm.
I mean,
Like
not to mention this is funny, and those aren't, but.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's like kind of like plays into it too.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
also yeah, I also just feel like those movies are much more polished, and maybe like
Interesting.
the fact that this is so surreal,
Mhm.
this makes it like inherently not as polished.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I see what you're coming to. I mean, this movie, I do think is very, very ambitious in like
Oh yeah,
what,
definitely,
yeah,
definitely.
Mhm.
and yeah, I suppose inherently you kind like again haven't seen Hereditary, but like Midsummer, I enjoy, and it is like yeah, it is very focused. It all I forget, but it all doesn't. It sort of all takes place over the course of just like a couple days. It's
Mhm.
really just in one setting. Um, it's sort of a slow burn, whereas this is yeah, just like It's 3 hours long at a breakneck pace. You know, you could if you got up for 5 minutes and came back, you would be completely lost. Like you'd be in a fucking other planet practically.
Yeah.
It's just like there's so much going on that I guess you do lose something. You know, it is a trade off. I think when you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Dan, you had something you wanted to show us,
Sure.
or is that, or is I was gonna say, is that for later?
We could do it now. We can either do it. We can either do negatives first, or we can do my thing first. Doesn't really
Oh
matter.
yeah, sure. I kind of talked about my negatives. My one of my biggest negatives is I just don't like Beau as a character. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm.
I brought that up before. I just feel like he's very like reactionary and like you said, Dan, that does kind of add to the like themes of the movie about having anxiety and like is dynamic with his mother. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I wish he had like more of a character arc as well. Like I wish he
Sure.
grew or even got worse because I feel like that
Yeah.
would have been a little interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and I also like I said I wasn't really in love with the ending, but it was a fun ride definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my negatives were I mentioned the time, like the pacing, and also I'm all for different environments and things like that, but because this was like just too much, it like lost me in different areas. There were areas where I was really invested in, and then
Mm-hmm.
areas where I wasn't. So those would be like my two biggest. Maybe just a little bit more focus
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
would have helped it for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. I agree with that. I agree with both of you guys, but Brendan, what you said in particular, like there's I'm conflicted because like I do really enjoy kind of like just this movie's like will kind of like we were talking about Synecdoche, New York, like this movie's willingness to just like explore a single theme to death, you know,
Mhm.
like just from every angle, like just demonstrate over and over again, like just create like in this case, the sort of like feelings of anxiety and um, but also like at the same time, yeah, like I can't ignore the fact that I feel like there's whole um acts or arcs or I don't even know what you want to call them that could sort of have been cut from this movie and you wouldn't know the difference. Like he could have not been at that family's house. Like he could have been hit by a car and wake up amongst the theater company and like they hit him with a car or something and like we would have no like it could have that just could have happened. You know, I'm not saying it should have been that
Yeah.
way, but it's just things are so disjointed that like although I enjoy it in a way, it kind of I don't know, like there's kind of I feel like a reason we tell stories in a particular way, and like why you want one event to kind of lead into another naturally. And this
Yeah.
movie just like doesn't do that. It's like essentially a random series of events. Like the scenes are like or the arcs are just connected by like Beau blacks out. He gets hit by a car, he hits a tree, he takes a nap, and then he wakes up and something new is happening. Like that's kind of the connective tissue of this movie. Um, so yeah, it's just kind of I guess that leads into
Yeah.
what you were saying, Chuck, where like kind of a little bit of a lack of polish of just like sort of random shit is happening. So I don't know. I'm very conflicted about this movie, I guess,
Mhm.
ultimately.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I am all for like random shit happening. I think that is always fun in movies. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean
don't get me wrong. Like if I don't know what's going on, and as long as I'm having a good time, like that's a good movie.
yeah, no, yeah, I can't argue with that. Yeah, because it's like honestly, I think we all, maybe not Brendan, but certainly you and I, Chuck, like enjoyed the ride. You know, like I'm
Oh
not gonna
yeah,
pretend like I didn't
yeah,
like it, right?
yeah.
So,
Mm.
And there's definitely gonna be scenes that I'm like gonna check out maybe later. Like I'm
mm,
definitely gonna want to like see that like I said the play scene a lot. I thought that was so cool.
yeah, hmm yeah, yeah. I mean, we like barely talked about it. And we don't have to talk about it because it's that could be like its own episode practically. But yeah, a lot to peel back there, honestly.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, not to mention Brendan, I think mentioned this like stylistically, super unique and great. The kind of playhouse world that he's in during that
Yeah.
whole sequence is super fun, and but like sort of very off-putting as well. And the masks that everyone's wearing, those like kind of featureless masks, those are really kind of creepy to
Oh
me
yeah.
actually.
Mhm. Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh yeah, no, I was gonna get into ratings, but no, you still have to.
Okay, well, yeah, we can do my bit. So, yeah,
It's a.
you guys don't.
Is it a wait? Is this a bit? I am so confused.
A, a bit. I don't know. It might. Let me explain what's going on.
Okay, cool.
We can decide if it's a bit, whatever you want to call it. So, you know, good news and bad news. I think maybe we enjoy doing this podcast, but I'm worried. I realized I've discovered something that I think might kind of put us out of business. I don't know if we really need to do this anymore. Because just recently, I don't know if you heard about this, Google put out something called Notebook LM, I think is what it's called. Hold on.
Okay.
Notebook. Yeah, Notebook LM. And what it is an AI powered research tool. And it's pretty cool. It's free. Say you've got like a bunch of, I don't know, say you were doing some research or something, there were a bunch of articles that you needed to read. You could plug the links into Notebook LM and it would spit out just a summary for you. It would go through all the points and it would just summarize all the articles for you in text. But the thing that I find kind of hilarious is that not only does it spit it out in text, but it will spit out a completely AI podcast based
Shit.
on the information you did with two hosts that banter and talk about your findings. And it's really freaky, actually.
That's crazy.
And so I just went ahead and to get a sense of like whether or not we'll be supplanted by AI, the meaning the three of us. I went ahead and put in a bunch of reviews for Beau Is Afraid into Notebook LM just to see what they had to say. And actually, the results are pretty wild. So I just thought maybe we could play just like a minute, and you could just get a sense and kind of be blown away the way I was, or maybe you won't care. But I thought it was pretty wild.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
let's check it out. So yeah, I'm gonna play it in a second.
All right, so today we're going to do a deep dive on something that's giving me some serious movie watching anxiety just from reading reviews. It's Beau Is Afraid. I got this review from RogerEbert.com, and wow, it really seems like Ari Aster is really swinging for the fences with this one.
Yeah, swinging for the fences is putting it mildly. I mean, this review, I don't even know. It sounds like this movie is going to be super divisive, like really divisive.
Yeah.
It seems like he's taken all those elements we saw from Hereditary and Midsommar, the psychological horror and the dark humor, and the messed up family dynamics, and just like turning it all up to 11.
At the center of it all is Joaquin Phoenix as Beau. The way they describe him as this man-child with such specific physicality, like I'm already wondering what kind of headspace Phoenix had to be in for this role.
Right. It's not even just about playing a character. It's like he's embodying this
we can
very
cut it there
specific
for now.
type of anxiety, this like
I hate this.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
That
it's
it was like
weird.
I
It's
put
so
in the
weird.
links, and 3 minutes later there was 16
Yeah.
minutes of this shit at the ready.
That
It is
sounded
like
so real. Like,
it
Yeah.
sounded real, but like it was so like not normal.
Right? Yeah, I've got this review from RobertEbert.com, and
Yeah,
wow.
like
Yeah,
and the way they were like they talked, but like it was so strange. Like I feel like they just didn't even like there wasn't even a second like it was like they were reading a script. You know what I mean?
yeah.
right. Well, or maybe they're just much better at this than us.
Oh
These
yeah,
certain people.
maybe, man. Oh my god, I did not like that. That was so weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of blew my
It just
mind. I
sounded
haven't
like a bad podcast though.
Well, I don't. I mean, this is what a bad podcast sounds like. What we're
Well,
doing.
that's true, but at least we have humor.
Well, we try. Yeah.
Mhm.
So anyway, I that just kind of blew my mind, and I just wanted to point out we got to step up our game because soon enough, no one's gonna
Yeah.
even have to hit play on us.
Man, this review from RogerEbert.com.
Yeah. It's giving me some serious movie watching anxiety.
Dude, and that's like the most like bullshit. Like that pisses me off so much. That's like, so like non-genuine. Like any
Well,
asshole
you're
can
right.
just say that.
Apparently.
Yeah. Uh,
No,
I
dude,
don't
like
know.
we're headed to a world in which like someone in the same way there's those shit YouTube videos, like someone's just gonna say, I want to start a podcast, and they're just gonna plug in a bunch of article links and they'll have a 60-minute podcast at the ready. And they can upload it and no one would know.
God,
Yep.
this is worse
They'll
than
get
Bose
sponsors.
reality.
Right. Yeah, we're the ones living in hell.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
I did not like that. But thank you for sharing that with us.
Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, no, I had to. Once I heard it, I was like, I can't just sit on this. I'm gonna go insane if I don't tell someone about this.
No, yeah, no, and I think we're the most I guess appropriate people to share that with.
Right.
You're like, oh yeah, you guys suck. Like AI is way better than you guys.
I actually got a little bit. I mean, we just do this for fun. It's not like, we're not really
Mm.
dependent on this, but it's like it did. I don't know. I was a little bit threatened. I have to be honest.
I'm gonna be maybe I'm just like cocky, but I feel like or maybe I'm just very anti AI. I just
Mm.
feel like it's better to get like that human like
Oh yeah, dude,
connect.
for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%, 100%. But I'm just saying. I mean, there's quality. I feel like isn't always the number one consideration when people decide whether or not they want to employ AI.
I guess that's
Yeah,
true.
true.
Yeah, and I mean maybe like if to be honest, if you're just trying to like get the skinny on like I guess like Beau Is Afraid, that's like not the worst for someone to like listen to.
Yeah,
But
no, dude. The thing I
Mhm.
thought of. Well, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, you're good.
Is actually I'm not going to do this, but like you could wake up in the morning, you could go to like I don't know some news app or like go to on Google News, just say what are the top stories from last night, today, yesterday, and just plug them into this thing, and then on your commute to work have a podcast that sounds like people talking about the headlines from yesterday. You know what I mean? Being like, so yesterday, on whatever date, this happened, that happened. I don't know. It kind of does have a lot of implications.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Huh. Well, I still hate it. Not gonna change my
No,
mind about
yeah,
it.
I'm not.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not. I don't love it, but I can't help but
and they
I know
sounded too happy. I d-
they
I
are
ra-
very yes.
I rather listen to like jaded, like pissed off people.
Okay, well, this is not for you because they love what they do. They
Oh
Yeah.
love being auto generated. They just and no
no.
matter what. I mean, I haven't messed with it that much, but I have a feeling no matter what you plug in, because I think they only have one setting, and it's like banter. Like which is actually
Fucking
For
I have
lame.
to
now.
test this for now. But I'm saying, what if I had plugged in? I don't know. So I don't want to be too glib. Something real world, something upsetting, like the news. I went and was like, "What's the news in Ukraine?" And they'd be
Yeah.
like, "Haha, did you hear what Putin did?" Like, just is it
Yeah,
always that
yeah.
vibe? That's not quite right.
Bombs are really going off in Ukraine
Ugh,
right now.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
real lit. Yeah, what if it was like you
Oh,
you can pick like what kind of like demographic you're going for too?
dude, it's just a
Oh
matter
my
of time.
god.
Just a matter of time.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's move ahead. That was
Yeah, we
great.
got to get out of here.
Yeah. All right, let's give ratings real quick. I'm gonna
Alrighty.
I'm gonna say 8. I'm gonna say 8.
Mhm. I think I'm gonna give the same. I'm gonna give it an 8.
I'm gonna give it a 7.
Okay,
Oh,
there's next. Oh,
yeah.
I'm surprised that I thought
Yeah,
you were
I
gonna
thought you
give
were
like
gonna.
a 5 or something.
No, because
Okay.
usually it's like,
No.
yeah, because like if I give something less than a 7, then I really didn't like it. Like anything below a
Okay, that
7 is
makes
all
Mhm.
the
no
same to me.
fucking sense. Why like why the
Because
fuck would you not like what's the point then? What is 5 then? 5 must be
that's
horrible.
but that's the thing. Like 5 versus 6, I didn't enjoy it. So like to go from 5 to 6, there's nothing that would make it 5 or 6. If I didn't like the movie, then
Oh,
that's it. It's just not. 7 is like, okay, it's
but see
fine.
that leaves a lot of space.
That's what I'm
Like that
saying.
means
Yeah.
most
Bro,
yeah
your
most
rating
of your
is literally
scale is
1,
negative.
7, 8, and 9,
Right.
10.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's either I absolutely love the movie,
You
I
liked
or
it or you hated it.
yeah, but then in the likes we get a little. That's where the 7 to 8, like
Uh-huh.
7 to 8.5 come in.
What? But why limit yourself? Like you're a complex human being with a full spectrum of emotion. Like,
That's
and
true.
you're like,
Okay.
yeah, the difference between me, like, you're like, the difference between, like, the positive feelings I can all be condensed between the numbers 7 and 8. That encapsulates my feelings on something.
Okay, then if we're okay, so then from now on I'll make a new rating system. This I will give a 6.
Bro, you had to hesitate
Okay,
before
yeah,
you said 6.
yeah.
You were
And
like,
by the
it
way,
was like curse coming out of your body.
you're right. I'm giving you a hard time. I don't want to speak for Chuck. Maybe he doesn't feel this way. You can have whatever score you like. I kind of like that we all have, I feel like, pretty drastically different approaches to the numbers because it
Yeah,
just ends up being all nonsense anyway. Like it doesn't
Sure.
really.
exactly.
Maybe Chuck wants some standardization.
Nah, dude,
But-
I just don't understand you, man. I just
It's personal. That's all it is. Because he has a problem with you.
All right,
Yeah.
let's get into things we saw. Let's get into things we saw.
You
All
go
right.
first.
All right, go first. Okay, cool. Yeah, I saw a couple Halloween movies. I saw The Shining with friends. Shining is always
Mm.
still a classic.
Mhm.
Watched a lot of
Mhm.
Halloween movies, and because of Brendan, I actually watched Scream, and Scream's amazing. I still
Yeah. Oh,
yeah
nice. Yeah.
yeah
I
that's
haven't
like
seen it.
oh
Oh,
man,
I have to watch it. I have to
it's
watch it.
the best slasher.
Yes, Dan,
Nice.
please.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
like
will. I'll watch it.
it's so good. But
I
it's a little
actually
too
now.
late now. It's like it's after Halloween.
Well, it's funny you say that. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe, but like I after watching scary movies for this podcast, it was like October 28th, and I was like, I kind of want to watch some Halloween movies now. So now I'm kind of late to the party, but my November might be like spooky November. I don't know.
That's cool.
Completely fair. Yeah, that's completely fair. All right, that's the things I wanted to talk about.
Nice.
Cool.
Dan?
I think the only thing I remember watching, but it was a good one. I watched The Thing finally.
Oh, I love the thing.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Thing's fucking awesome.
Mhm.
Holds up. Funny, we may have talked about this. Like, I guess, or probably know it. Kind of a bomb when it came out, like in
Yeah,
box office bomb.
yeah, it was a box office bomb.
Yeah, and
Um,
critically, or
yeah, no,
yeah,
I
whatever.
think it was also critically like people did not
Yeah,
like it initially.
and it's funny because and I knew that ahead of time. Like I'd heard that maybe from you guys, and so I was sort of expecting like definitely a certain amount of camp. Or I was like, but I actually think genuinely. I mean, it's easy to say with hindsight, but like it's actually like a really well structured movie. Like it's like rock solid. Like it's not just like oh man. Like I mean, obviously the creature effects are like world class. Still,
Yeah.
but like it's also just like the whole like it's kind of like a crazy twist on like a who done it. You know what I mean? Like a murder mystery is sort of what it is because it's like you don't know who the murderer is, but instead it's like I don't know. I just sort of thought it was actually kind of a clever story structure for all the hate it got.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
It's like it's a classic and it's like really just held up all this time.
Yeah, it definitely does. Definitely does. But yeah, so that was my big watch. Really good. Glad I finally got around to it.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, for me it's really quick. The Shining with Chuck. It was a rewatch. Hocus Pocus rewatch. Scream rewatch.
Nice.
And I
Oh,
love
so
all
we
three
had two of
classic.
the three same movies. Oh no,
Yeah.
actually I saw Hocus Pocus too. Oh wow,
Okay.
3 of the 3, yeah.
There
Hocus
you-
Pocus is okay. It gets worse and
Oh.
worse every time I watch it.
Oh,
Yeah, that might be true, but it's
Damn.
good. I like it. I used to watch it all the time as a kid.
yeah. I like it for the vibes.
Yeah, it's fun. It's cool. Like I'm not gonna say like I watch it a lot now, but I saw it like a couple years ago. It was good.
Yeah, not my favorite.
Did you watch it as a kid or did you only see it? As
Oh
an
yeah,
adult?
I watched it as a kid too, but like
Okay.
my wife like it's one of her favorite Halloween movies, and we watch every Halloween. And I feel like
Yeah.
I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can sort of see that.
hmm And I'm also like she has like her staples that she always likes to watch for Halloween and also Christmas. Like
Right.
now we're watching Home Alone every year, Home Alone 1 and 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
classics.
And they're good, but like I'm worried one day I'm just gonna be like jaded. I'm like, I don't want to watch fucking Home Alone anymore.
Yeah, you'll be fine. But I kind of am the same way. Where like I definitely have my staples too,
hmm
or what I would consider staple, but I can't watch them every year because it's like it does. Like I guess I'm just old now, but it's like yeah, because Home Alone. I do love Home Alone 1 and 2. Got a lot of affection for it. Not like I just love watching them on my own time. There's definitely a nostalgia element. And it's
Mhm.
like at some point it's going to lose the charm, right? Like I got to give myself some space to kind of like forget just enough, or kind of like I can't overdo it, I guess.
No,
Mhm.
I feel that like completely. But yeah, I was gonna say now we can talk about what I was gonna recommend. Um,
Yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna say, do you guys want to watch a documentary?
I'm down for anything.
Uh,
I mean, is it? I feel like if we watch a documentary, we suddenly kind of have a slight obligation to know what we're talking about, which could be fine. But
Oh, this is not gonna be like you need a lot of knowledge. I feel like
okay, good,
this is like very like
good.
I will say this is very like not surface level sounds bad, but I guess you could say surface level.
And now that we're talking about it, we did watch a documentary. We watched
Yeah, we saw
Here's
My
Zachary.
Brother Zachary. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah.
I'm down for anything.
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
down too. It's your pick.
cool. So yeah, let's watch Exit Through the Gift Shop. Um,
Oh,
it's by
I've heard of this.
Banksy. Um,
Oh,
yeah, I watched
okay,
it a while ago, and it's pretty fun. Um,
cool.
yeah,
That's cool.
it's you guys will hopefully get a kick out of it. It's definitely different.
That's cool. I'm
Yeah, no,
excited.
that's cool. Yeah, it's funny. I don't know where or why, but I heard of this and I've seen the poster. Like I've seen the title, the poster,
Mhm.
like 1,000 times, and I can't even quite place where. But I didn't know it was Banksy. I didn't really know anything about it. It's just funny. Somewhere maybe I knew someone with a poster of this on the wall or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Something like that.
this feels like a college like dorm
Oh,
room.
yeah, it does have that
Uh,
look to it.
mhm. Yeah, and like I said, you don't need to know really anything. The documentary is like kind of like self-contained.
Okay, cool. 'Cause
Yeah, it's
I
not
don't
like,
know.
Yeah.
oh yeah, like you need to know like what happened with the war invasion of Poland in 1927.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, 1927. Yeah,
Mhm.
rest in
Mhm.
peace, Poland.
Yeah, it never existed ever again.
Ugh, such a shame.
But yeah, so that's it. If you guys want to catch up, watch Exit Through the Gift Shop. It is available on YouTube. So if
Oh,
you it's a free watch as well, so that's always nice. And yeah, it's fun. It's a quick watch too. I think it's only like an hour 30. Hour 26. Oh, perfect.
nice. I'll take it. Nice
Nice.
change of pace from this one that we just watched.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's gonna fly by. It's gonna be over before we know it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys, and thank you everyone who's listening. This was our 56th episode. We're almost at 60, maybe one day. But yeah, this has been Chuck.
This has been Daniel.
This has been Brandon.
Cool. Chabot. Gabash.